Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, Season 5, Episodes 9 and 10. So this is the second to last She-Ra reaction we're going to have on this channel. Because next week we finish the series. Next week we finish the final 3 episodes. But we still have this one first. So while it's sad that it's almost over, it has been a great ride, for sure. Not perfect, mind you, but great nonetheless. So that being said, last time our heroes returned to Etheria. Not really much else happened after that, of course, but they did return because that's what their goal was. Everyone who was on Etheria, meanwhile, stuff happened with them. We got to see a mission to find the elusive Prince Peekaboo that didn't really go according to plan. But it did get to show us Perfuma and Mermista in some really fancy, sexy outfits, and that is always according to plan. Also, Scorpio got to sing, which is fun. Yeah, and we got to see more with Natasha dealing with Spinnerella, who's been, taken over and everything, and, stuff's going down. The shit's been happening. It's really building into the climax here. Meanwhile, Castaspella and Shadow Weaver are off trying to help fix things somewhere. We don't even fully know what the plan is there yet. So yeah, things are going super. We're gonna kind of have to just see where this goes, really. But yeah, so we got the 2 episodes today, and then next week we have the final 3. Now I know the final 2 are a 2-parter, but the one before that is probably going to tie into it as well, like right into it. Even though it's technically not part of the 2-parter or anything. And it's just, I think it's just the best way to do this. And then the week after that, we will have Ruby return, Ruby Volume 8. But yeah. So that's the plan. That is the plan. For now, we're just going to get into this, hope for the best, and see what happens. So, when the screen fades black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black, then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, 3 more episodes to go after this. There are only 3 left. And these 2 episodes were purely the rebellion fighting back against the forces of Horde Prime and trying to save their friends. There is, of course, the stuff with Bo and his fathers as well. And that's more leading into next episode, though, clearly. So after arriving back, our heroes have to reunite with the remainder of the rebellion who haven't been taken over. They do so and start to try and get their friends back. They go to the Fright Zone where Scorpia's been seen to try and get her back first, but end up walking into a trap where everyone is there. And this is after they've already failed to get Spinnerella back in a neighboring village, which they ended up liberating from the Horde's grasp. So they end up going into the trap, and Horde Prime is already there, already assured of his victory. But as the fight continues, Scorpia manages to help them escape, breaking out of her programming briefly, and they end up saving Spinnerella, but not Mermista or, you know, Scorpia. So one at a time, I guess. Um, these episodes were intense. They were very emotional. There was a lot of heavy shit going on. Not only continuing the heavy stuff with Natasa and Spinnerella, but also bringing in more with Perfuma and Scorpia. Perfuma's insistence on not fighting Scorpia, her insistence on using her friendship and love to get through to her, was heartbreaking. Because it's very clear that the two had gotten extremely close. So you can understand her perspective, but at the same time, it's like you need to do whatever you can to subdue her in this case. The problem is Scorpia is really strong. She legitimately is. Um, as I said in the reaction, she was strong before her power, before she even unlocked her powers. So it's like she's not, again, she wouldn't be easy to take down. And Mermista's always been extremely strong, so she wouldn't be easy to take down either. Um, Spinnerella is strong for sure, and we're getting to see that through these fights. Like we really haven't seen a lot of her in action before. Like she was in action a few times here and there, but for very short screen time overall. So we're getting to see a lot more of that. But I definitely don't think is one of the strongest princesses in the alliance. I don't think she is. Her and Natasa both seem like two of the. I don't want to call them weaker, but they are. They're weaker comparatively. I would put Glimmer in the same camp as them though, because Glimmer definitely is not that strong. She just isn't. She relies more on her teleportation and using that to her advantage. Um, all things considered, Glimmer is not strong. And Natasa, honestly, I think Natasa and Spinnerella both are stronger than Glimmer in terms of actual combat ability and power ability. Um, but yeah, it's like they're just not as strong as the likes of Mermista or Scorpia, or honestly even Perfuma. And of course, none of them like stand up to She-Ra, but still. um, so yeah, it's like it's wild to see. Um, so much trouble be given, but it makes sense that Spinnerella would be the one they get back first. Plus, she was the first one to be out of the heroes here to be chipped outside of Catra. So it also makes sense through that she would possibly be the first one to be saved. Um, so between Mermista and Scorpia, though, I don't know like how that's going to work. Maybe we'll get one of them next episode. Scorpia, I think, will be the hardest because it seems like Horde Prime is keeping her close. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Uh, we saw Swiftwind and Frosta in the first episode during the reuniting of the rebellion, but they didn't have any role to play in the second one there. Like they weren't even with Bo and Glimmer when they went to find Bo's dads. Um, they just I assume they just stayed behind to protect their base and everything. But you kind of wanted to see more with them, you know. Um, so maybe we'll see more in the next episode, but definitely we will in the finale. Like the finale is going to bring everyone together, of course. We also another person we didn't see was Micah. We didn't see Micah anywhere. Um, Now at the end of the second episode here, episode 10, Castaspella and Shadow Weaver came in and it's like, we got to go to Mysticor. Maybe he's there. It would make sense, just like Scorpia going to the Fright Zone made sense. But we'll see. It's honestly just unclear. I almost kind of wished that Mermista had gone to Selenius. I would have just I want to see more of Selenius. We just didn't get to see enough of it. I would love to see a lot more of her kingdom. I think it would just be cool to get to see, but I definitely don't think we're going to. There's not enough time, really. There's just not enough time to bring anything like that in. Um, but yeah, yeah. I really, really did enjoy these two episodes. There's some good stuff with Catra too, just still trying to come together and be a good guy here. She had a little bit of sass, she had a little bit of jokes, but she never really came across as like trying to like actually be bad again or anything. Like she joked about like, oh, they hate princesses here. Maybe I should rent some property. And it's like that was clearly a joke. Um, but yeah, it's like, and everyone not trusting Catra at first, it makes sense. I'm not upset at that at all. It makes sense, honestly, and I think even Catra knows that. But geez, when Frosta just wailed into her, it's like holy shit. It's like it just kind of happened too, which is that's the funny part. It just kind of happened. Frosta just like wails right into her face, and it's like holy shit, Frosta. I mean, yes, that's Frosta's personality. She's always kind of been a punch first, ask questions later type of kid, but geez, girl. Pun intended, chill. Um, I like that Natasha kind of has this Batman gimmick going on where she keeps records of everybody's weaknesses. Um, because I mentioned in the reaction, Batman does that with the Justice League. This is something that has been canonically used throughout various forms of media and whatnot. Batman keeps notes of the weaknesses of all of the Justice League in case any of them were to go rogue, in case any of them were even just to be brainwashed. They need to know how you could take these people down, like Superman. He knows Superman's weaknesses include the likes of kryptonite and magic. So using something like that would be able to help take him down, at least long enough to help him go back to normal, if possible, um, and stuff like that. And in some iterations, it's like it goes really in depth with it and actually utilizes all of that. So it's like it was instantly the first thing I thought of when Natasha was like, "Oh, I keep records of all your weaknesses," and it's like, "Oh, you're Batman. Neat." That's pretty much my thoughts on that. But I like how most of them had a common weakness of fire. It's like, okay, that's funny. And it's like I think most people can say that they're weak to fire, to be fair. Um, but yeah, that was still funny. I like how Catra's is just a water bottle. That was hilarious. Although the cat jokes are a little much. Like again, we get that she's a cat. They've done this throughout the entire series too, and it's like it seems lazy if I'm being honest. Like it can be funny at points. It was definitely funny here, but it's still lazy. Like you have a character named Catra who is a cat-like humanoid, and it's like okay, you're gonna have her like do stuff like hiss or whatnot, or the way she walks or moves around is very cat-like. Even you could say the way she acts has a certain air of cat-likeness to it. But it's like you go a little too far with the jokes. It starts to feel forced and more like a just like you're trying too hard rather than making like a natural cat-like humanoid character. It's just, and I get that they're trying to lighten things up with her, considering she's a good guy now. They're trying to make things a little more friendly and fun around her. I get that from a storytelling and character perspective, but it's still so weird in just the way it's presented, and it's lazy, and I don't know. It just, I feel there's better ways they could have done it to lighten the mood and make it more friendly of an atmosphere surrounding Catra with her now being a good guy. They could have done this in other ways, other than making just lazy cat jokes. It just feels too easy for me. And honestly, way too overdone. It's like anytime you have a character who's named after or looks like they're part cat in any kind of show, it's like they always do these cat jokes every time, every single time, and it's always just so blah because everyone does it. Uh, anyways, anyways, yeah, I did still like these episodes. There's a lot of great action, a lot of great character moments, and like I said, next week is the final three episodes. Next week we finish She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. And it's going to be sad to see it go. I've really come to enjoy this series. It's become one of my favorites. And it, for this final season, it's proven to keep that quality up, unlike a lot of shows out there. Star versus Steven Universe, they all kind of fucked it up with the final season. And that's even if you're not counting Steven Universe Future as the final season of Steven Universe. If you're just even counting just the final season of the actual main Steven Universe series, it still fucked it up. But this one actually is not. In fact, it's as good as it ever has been. But and I hate to say it this way, there's still three episodes. They could still fuck something up. So it's not over yet. Um, but it is close. It is close to being over. And it's going to be sad. And I know people have been like rallying on Twitter ever since season 5 was put up on Netflix. I know people have been rallying for a movie to be made just to have more content. And I can already tell. I don't know how the finale is going to go, but I can already tell. I don't want that. I don't want a movie. I don't want another. I don't want a movie. I don't want a special. I don't want another season. I think that would undermine the. I think that would undermine this final season. Season 5 is clearly meant to close everything out. It is clearly meant to be the final season. There does not need to be a movie. There does not need to be anything else. Doing anything else at this point, it's just like you're undermining what this season is clearly meant to be. Again, that's what season 5 is. It is the finale. It is closing everything out. It's it's the end. And it's meant to be, and it's portrayed as such. Everything is wrapping up. There's really nothing else they could do. I mean, I'm sure they could like just figure something out and just like throw some shit together. I'm sure, like, but there's really nowhere else to go at this point. There's nothing else really valid that they could do at this point that would make it feel a natural addition. Anything else would just feel tacked on. It would feel forced. And we don't need that at this point. Just let it end. Not every show needs to continue forever. Gravity Falls only had 2 seasons. And that's all it needed. Be glad that She-Ra got 5. And honestly, it's all it needs. We don't need any more than this. And I am saying that as a fan. As someone who has become a big fan of this series, I do not believe that we need anything more. And again, I think it would actually hurt it to do anything more. Sometimes you just got to know when to let it go. There's going to be other good shows. There's going to be other great shows. I mean, we're still waiting on more Castlevania. So there's still that. Ruby is still going. And Ruby's 8 seasons in, and that's still going strong. So that's the one that continues to go. But not every show needs to be like that. So I disagree with everyone who has said that they want a movie or some kind of continuation. We don't need that. No matter where this ends, it's not gonna change that. This is clearly the finale. This is meant to be the end of the series. And we need to just let it rest with wherever it ends in the final episode. And I'm all good with that. I'm all good with that. Tell me your thoughts down in the comments below. And do not spoil the final episodes for me, anything about them. But tell me your thoughts on these 2 episodes, 9 and 10, of Season 5 in the comments. And thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.